the only way to do is the process. Okay? But before I get into the process itself, I want to kind of remind everyone that you can do the registration, you can get your funds together, but most importantly, you need to prepare yourself spiritually. It's very, very important that you prepare spiritually. I am regularly speaking to different people about the Hajj process, but I feel like we are still stuck in our ways of, we're not spiritually getting ourselves ready. So think about what you're trying to do. What is it that you're trying to do? You're not just getting on an aircraft and going to Saudi Arabia and going around the Kaaba, Safa, Marwa, and then going to and throwing the stones, etc., Arafat, etc. That is not the point. It is you're doing it to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You're doing it to commemorate. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah Baqarah, many places, mentions the fact, commemorate me. You are doing the Hajj to commemorate me, meaning to felicitate me, to highlight my actions. So we're not going to be able to do that if we don't prepare ourselves spiritually. We need to prepare ourselves spiritually. We need to think of how we can prepare it. We need to start reflecting on these things. What is it that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is asking? Start thinking about when you're doing tawaf. People might have gone for Umrah, etc. Might have done the tawaf, sa'i, etc. But when you're doing the Hajj, it is much more than that. It is you are commemorating. You're depicting the activity that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala liked and has made that as part of the Hajj. So, like when you're doing the tawaf, when you're doing the Safa Marwa, when you're going to Arafat, there are each one of these actions is basically you're commemorating something that the Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala liked. It is to highlight, it is to felicitate, it is to celebrate. That is the whole point that is there. So, first of all, start saying labbaik, Allahumma labbaik, labbaik la sharika laka labbaik, innal hamda wal ni'mata laka wal mulk, la sharika lak. If you have plans of going for it, whether it's this year, next year, whichever year it is, keep reciting this talbiyah. Keep reciting this talbiyah. You are basically telling Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I'm here, I heard you, Allah, and I want to come for Hajj. That is what you're basically saying. You're continuously, when you're reciting, that's what you're doing. So, moving forward, one of the other things I want to mention is, do not get worried about the nusuk process. Yes, there are challenges. People might have made the comment, there are difficulties, the OTPs, online, login, package selection, etc., sitting all night. Yes, it is there. But inshallah, with us being around, with our commitment is to help people through the entire process. My team, basically, we get online with people. Hajj has very clearly emphasized this year, they want the hujjaj themselves to do the process. But we will be there to guide you. We will not take over your accounts. We will not do that. Okay, that's something that we have been not doing in the previous years also. Going forward also we will not do it. But we will be there to help you through the entire process. So don't worry about it. We are experienced. We know what to do with things. We understand the challenges. We are there to help you, inshallah. In the meantime, we are also working with Nusuk team. We are in touch with a few people to help improve the process also. Inshallah, they will continuously keep improving. So the process basically is, it starts with the Nusuk registration. We'll go through the Nusuk registration, inshallah. So the registration, once it's verified, then you will be ready to review the packages when the packages are released. Okay, not immediately, you'll not be able to review it. Just because you're approved, the registration is approved, does not make you eligible to review the packages. Registration approved also does not make you, that does not guarantee you a Hajj package. All it's saying is your information has been accepted. When the packages are released, then you're going to select the package, put it in your shopping cart, put the funds, appropriate funds into the e-wallet. I will go over that also, inshallah. And then you do the package purchase. There is a certain time when they will start. The way it works is, let me just move to the next one. So the Nusuk registration is open right now. You do the verification. It's also ongoing right now. It's taking a few weeks, but it's working. They are working with that. The package review, packages are expected to be released in the first week of January at this point in time. Sometime January 3rd or 4th, we are expecting that the packages to be released for review. They will allow about 3 to 4 weeks to review the packages. So during this period of time, we'll work with you. We'll have multiple seminars and webinars to go over the packages, to help you understand the packages, to help you select the packages that are appropriate for you. And we are the guide from Rawaf Mina, okay? But we will help you with other packages also, but we will be continuously talking more about Rawaf Mina packages, but at the same time, we'll help you with the other packages also, whatever the hujjaj need. That's our focus on the hujjaj. So then, sometime towards the end of January, we expect for them to open up the sale of the packages. That's when you would be purchasing the packages. But before this, registration has to be completed and verified. You should have selected a few packages. You should have enough funds into the e-wallet. E-wallet, I'll go over that again. You should have everything ready. All you're saying is, yes, now I want it. Here is my money. Here is the package I want. I want it now. Okay? Assuming the quota is available, packages are available, inshallah, ta'ala, you will get the package, and then your Hajj visa, flight tickets, everything is through the Nusuk. You do not need to reach out to anyone else. Our role is to guide you and help you. But otherwise, everything is happening within the Nusuk. And sometime in the month of May, inshallah ta'ala, you'll be on your way to the Hajj, inshallah ta'ala. Okay? So, moving forward, so the question comes up about the e-wallet. Okay, let's quickly look through the e-wallet. So some of the okay, before I get into that, want to quickly give a few updates on the Nusuk. Nusuk packages, as I said, are expected to be released in the first week of January, and Nusuk is in the process of continuously updating their system right now. Okay, they are trying to make the system better. They are still getting the feedback. They are working through it. Unfortunately, but during this period of time, there are some issues. Like, for example, there are login failures happening regularly. Your account is generally good. Your email and password might be good. Considering if you have entered the right mail and email pass and your password, you might get login failure. Just be patient. Just be patient. Just try it again. And registration verification, there are at times your people are receiving registration messages which are a little bit invalid. It does not make sense. Just drop a note to support@healthnusuk.sa and you can copy it us at ppthealth@gmail.com because we are regularly getting the information and we are trying to help. We're regularly trying to help Nusuk also with this one. I'm just before I get into the registration, I wanted to cover some of these updates. Okay. So the other thing is for you to, if once you do the registration, for you to check how the status of this thing, you should have received an email. Okay. But we also always recommend people to go into your Nusuk account, into the My Profile, using your name here. You click down and then get into My Profile. You should be able to see the status here. It will be under verification or it will be successfully verified, one or the other. Inshallah ta'ala, hopefully everyone's account will be successfully verified soon. So many people are getting approved also, but do not get anxious, do not get excited because it's taking 2 to 3 weeks for the approval process actually. Okay, so once you are approved, you are allowed to select a preferred category and activate the e-wallet. I know several people have been questioning, sending us messages asking, oh, what do we do about this preferred category? I don't understand this category. This is not a critical step at all. If you don't understand, just leave it. This does not help you at this point in time. It has no relevance into your package selection. It does not make any difference into your registration process. But we will go over this one just to explain what these things are basically. Okay. So again, so once you're approved, you will have the option of selecting a preferred category and activating the e-wallet. Preferred category, basically there are three categories: luxury, premium, and standard. Okay. This is just a categorization. It really does not necessarily, if you select luxury today, does not necessarily mean when the packages are released, you cannot go and look at premium and standard. It doesn't mean that. All it does is when the packages are released, if you have selected luxury, you will see the luxury packages first. That's all. If you selected standard, you will see the standard packages first. You can always ignore that and say, I want to look at all the rest of the packages. So it really doesn't matter. It has no relevance, not much impact into your package selection. So you can select it, you can select one of these, and fine. But if you don't worry about it. There is really nothing to get too worried about it. Now, one of the things that you will see is the shifting and non-shifting, and people get worried about it. It's not a big deal. Again, shifting basically means during the Hajj period, you will, if you select a package that is shifting, you will be moved from your hotel to another hotel. Okay. For example, if your hotel that you started out is in front of the Haram, during the Hajj period of time and after that, you might be moved into a hotel in Azizia to keep the cost lower. But the choice is yours. If you select a package that is shifting, that's what will happen. If you select a package that says non-shifting from the entire period of time, this is only for Makkah, right? So the entire period you're in Makkah with a non-shifting package, you'll remain in the same hotel. For example, if you're in a hotel across from Haram, you will stay in the same hotel before the Hajj, during the Hajj, days of the Mashar, which is the days of the Mina, etc., and the days after the Hajj. You will stay in the same hotel. You're not moving. Okay? There are advantages, there are disadvantages. One big advantage of a shifting package is the cost. It lowers the cost if you want to stay close to Haram before the Mashar days, before the days of the Hajj, but you still want the cost to be lower. Shifting packages allows that. Okay? But it also has the challenge of having to move. Okay, so I'll cover that a little bit more in detail, inshallah. But this is what shifting and non-shifting packages mean. Packages have not been released. So even if you go and select a premium package as standard, you will not see any package. This is why I keep repeating. This step is not a necessary step. It does not help you in any way at this point. So don't waste too much time on this one. Okay, I'll also not move. E-wallet. This is an important topic. Okay. Activating the e-wallet is not that important right now because it does not help you. Activating the e-wallet today or activating the e-wallet later in the month of December has no relevance to it. Because you can activate the e-wallet, but you cannot top the fund. You cannot add the funds to your e-wallet. So it really is not a big impact. So don't worry about it. If you don't do these two steps, selecting the category and activating the e-wallet, you're not missing anything. You're not losing anything. Okay, but I do want to cover the e-wallet because this is the important part, because this is where you need to start thinking about the funds part, right? So e-wallet is nothing but the digital wallet service from Nusuk. Okay, there are other digital wallet services such as the Google Pay, other e-pays, everything, different kinds of packages. This is the one from Nusuk. But this one is different from the other digital services. This one can only be used on the Nusuk to buy the Hajj packages and nothing else. You cannot say, let me use that to buy something else for the Qurbani, for my food in Makkah, this thing, to purchasing. You cannot do it. This is only for the items that are presented through Nusuk, which is basically your flight, your Hajj package, which is the days in Saudi Arabia. And sometimes it also offers the Qurbani, which is the Udiyah sometimes, okay? Depending on the package. So
But all payments to your Hajj, the flight as well as the Hajj, has to be made through Nusuk using e-wallet. If somebody comes and tells you, give me $8,500, I'll get you the package, I'll get you the visa, please don't do that. Please don't do that, because that is not going to work. That is not going to work. Okay? So please avoid those things. Ministry is repeatedly sending out messages to us on this, to advise our hujjaj not even to deal with anybody individually that says, I will create your account, I will pay the money, give me the money, I'll get you to the Hajj. It does not work that way. Okay? Ministry wants individuals to do it on their own. If we can, we are here to help you, basically. Okay? So, and the funds is, again, as I said, through the Nusuk only. And another thing is, single, in one account, you can have multiple members, your family members. All the family members have to be paid through one single e-wallet. That the reason I'm mentioning this is, let's say you pick a package which is $10,000 and you have 5 people in your account, 5 people in your family that are going for Hajj. Then you need to have in the e-wallet $50,000 basically to pay for all the 5 people. All the 5 people have to pay through the same e-wallet. I'll cover this a little bit more in short. Okay. You can wallet, if you think about it, is nothing but a wallet, like your purse. You put the money, you keep putting the money into it until you have 50,000 ready to buy the package. But you need to have the money in your purse before you can purchase the package. You cannot say, once I purchase the package, I'll pay a little bit installment. It doesn't work that way. It's like everything has, it's similar to other e-commerce sites. For example, Amazon, if you think about Amazon. Amazon has packages. You have to have a credit card that is available to pay off. When you are purchasing, you need to pay the whole amount. Okay, so unused funds, for example, if you put more funds, you can withdraw it. There is a transaction fee that they charge. Previous years it was 1.5. Going forward, I don't know what it will be, but this is what it is at this point in time. Recommendations for there are two ways to fund your e-wallet. Okay, there are 2 ways to put the money into your purse. You can either do it through a credit card or you can do it through a bank transfer. These are the 2 options to put the money into your purse. Credit card, our recommended step is really credit card. We recommend using the credit cards. Of course, from an Islamic perspective, you should pay it off before the interest starts bearing on it, right? Because we don't want the interest on our this thing. So, but we prefer credit cards because it goes through quicker. But a few things that we want you to watch out for is make sure you use the credit card from major institutions. Avoid credit card that is from credit union, etc. The reason is when you go to process the credit card against the Nusuk, because it's coming from a smaller bank, those smaller banks will generally end up rejecting, thinking it's a foreign transaction, which is a fraud. So our recommendation is try to get the credit card. You still have about 3 to 4 weeks now. Get the credit card from a major institutions. Get the credit card from a major institution, and then look to see for credit card that does not have foreign transaction fee. Because the foreign transaction fee can be about 3%. 3% can add up very fast. Okay. There are credit cards such as from Capital One, Chase, etc., which does not have the transaction fee, but you have to look and make sure. Because I don't want to say it does not, because you have to look at it, make sure there is no foreign transaction fee. We do not recommend debit cards simply because debit cards have limitations, daily limitations. We are talking about 10,000, 30,000, etc. You cannot keep doing 500 every day. And the other thing is, debit cards, even if it's from those bigger banks, they generally will reject it because foreign transactions are generally very carefully evaluated. They look at it, and in many times they will consider this as a fraud and they will block it. So the transaction might fail. So avoid using debit cards. Okay. Now, if you do have to use a bank account, you need to make sure the bank account is again with a major institution. If you go with a bank account which is in a credit union or a smaller local bank, the way the transactions work is that local bank will first send it to a clearing house with a major bank. So your credit union will send it to a major bank such as Bank of America, Chase, etc. And then from there it will go to Nusuk's account. Now, in this process, sometimes either it could take longer or it could get rejected also. So if you in order to avoid, try to avoid a bank account which is with a smaller, it's with a smaller bank. Okay. And then, so look for this thing basically. Our recommendation again is credit card simply because we have seen challenges with bank transfers, etc. So it is better to use a credit card. But if you have to use the bank account, we will help you with that one, how to overcome some of these fraud rejections, inshallah. Package prices. Now we talked about the e-wallet. Let's talk about the package prices because that's the question that comes up immediately to mind is, okay, now e-wallet, we talked about all this fun. We talked about credit card limits, etc. Let's talk about the package prices. Package prices are not available. We don't know the package prices. Okay, I want to make it very clear. Package prices will only be known when the packages are released on the Nusuk platform. That's the only official way you know. What I'm going to do is show you based on the past experience, estimates, a range. I cannot tell you 8,000, 9,000, 10,000, etc. I'll show you what different types of packages and the ranges are for that. Okay. So the major factors that affect the package pricing, one is the flight gateway. Which gateway you're going by? Washington, JFK, Chicago, London, Paris, Amsterdam, etc., etc. Okay, so depending on the gateway, the package price could differ. The other part, interestingly, is the Hajj duration. An interesting thing to note here is, if the Hajj duration is longer, the package price sometimes is lower. The reason is, if the duration is shorter, that means you are flying out 3, 4, 5 days before the Hajj, when the flight are at peak, because lots of people are doing that one. So flights will have started flying. You know, the airlines, there is a restriction when is the last passenger that can go into the Saudi land in Saudi Arabia for Hajj. So those last few days, package price, the flight cost is higher. So people have come to us and said, my package is only 10 days, but I'm paying more than the 21-day package. Yes, it's because the flights have left like 10, 15 days before when the prices are lower, and they're coming a little bit later when it's lower again. Okay, the days just before and after the Hajj, the flight prices are higher. So that's why the Hajj duration makes a big difference. The hotel in Makkah, the distance from Haram, big part of it. Okay, the closer the hotel is to Haram, the package prices are higher. If you have a hotel in Clock Tower, it'll be higher. Dar Tawheed, yes, it'll be higher. But if the hotel is in Azizia, even if it's a 5-star, the cost will be much lower than the package, which is right across from the Haram. Of course, the rating, 3, 4, 5-star makes a difference. The other major factor that makes a difference in the package pricing is the camp type. If it's Al Mawsam, which is also referred as European American camp, from the Nusuk, from the camp that we go to, this is the lowest cost wise. The next one is Al Kabsh. Al Kabsh is another one where which is a little bit higher. It's also considered called the VIP camp. The cost of the package will be higher if you are picking up the Al Kabsh camp. Now, another thing I want to point out about the Al Kabsh camp, Al Kabsh has fewer packages available with Al Kabsh. It is closer. I'll go over that in just a few more minutes. But Then there is a third category which we generally don't support, we are not involved in, which is called the Kidana. This is the most expensive package, which can go into $25,000 to $40,000. Okay, so I'm just presenting it so that you're aware of it. Okay, so hotel in Makkah. If you look at it, they call this Zone A. You will hear this word in the packages, which are the hotels which are right close to the Haram, such as the Clock Tower, the Makkah Hotel, and Jum Dar Tawil. The second level is the Zone B, which is right behind the Clock Tower hotels here, which is the Jabal Omar hotels, like the Hilton, Hyatt, Marriott, etc. Basically, okay. Then the third category of hotels is the Zone C hotels, which is the Shohda, the Voco, and few other hotels, the Meridian Hotel, which are like maybe about half a mile to 1 mile walking distance. Shuttles are available, generally up to the 5th of Dhul Hijjah, but frequency and this thing is a little bit always under question, but the shuttles are available. The fourth one is basically the Zone M, Zone D. This is the Aziz. This is about 5 to 7 kilometers, which is about 4 to 5 miles. Again, the shuttles are available, but I have never been satisfied with the shuttle service, so just be aware of it. Taxis and other services are available, but this is something that this is where the cost will be lowest from a package perspective. If the hotel is in the Azizia, there are some very good hotels in Azizia. There's a Holiday Inn, there is Millennium, there is Ibis, there are other hotels, very good hotels, which are in Azizia, but there is a distance factor that you have to be concerned about. Okay, so this is the hotel. So this is another view of the hotels. I'll just move forward quickly. I talked about the shifting. The Mina camps. So if you look at the Mina, this is how the layout of Makkah is. This is the Jamarat, this is Azizia, Mina here, Muzdalifah, and Arafat is further out here. So if you look at this one, Mina here, the first camp we want to talk about is the Al Muassam camp, which is economy and deluxe packages. This is approximately 3 miles to the Jamarat. Okay, very important to notice. This is a walking only. There is no transportation available from Al Muassam to the Jamarat. People get confused. People hear someone say, I took a bus there, here, etc. But there is no direct bus service between the Al Muassam to the Jamarat. There is just no way. It is not there. If someone says that there is, they are basically talking about some special arrangement they made. They probably went somewhere to Haram. From Haram, they came there. That is just generally not possible. So just be prepared. The Al Muassam camp to the Jamarat is about 3 miles. It is generally not a difficult walk. It is a walk. Yes, it is a walk, but it's a paved area. And in most cases, most people are able to do it, unless there is a physical handicap that does not allow you to walk that much. There is a decision that each one will have to make. Okay, and if you don't have any physical disability issue, start preparing for it. Start walking. Start watching your diet. Inshallah, it will not be that difficult. So this is Al Muassam camp. The next one is, of course, the Al Kafsh camp. Al Kafsh, which has better facilities, it's closer to the Jamarat. It's about half a mile walk. And then it also between the Jamarat, Muzdalifah, Arafat, there is a train service, whereas the Jamarat, the Al Muassam, the buses are used. Okay, so this one is a better facilities and is closer to the Jamarat. So these are the two camps. You can look at the comparison. 3 miles, this is half a mile to the Jamarat. Better facilities, the train system is there. Here it is basically you will have to use the bus service. Again, they have improved things tremendously. This camp is a fairly good camp. Al Muassam camp, about 3 some years back, was not at the level that I would say I would recommend it. But at this point, it is not a bad camp. It's a well facilities, good facilities. and the food is also good, etc. Of course, there is a big difference between Al-Kabsh and Al-Muassam camp. The third one is the Kirana camp. Again, as I said, this is something that my group, my team of guys will not be involved in because it's a very expensive camp. It generally starts at like 21,000 plus. So it's Al-Kabsh and Al-Muassam is what we would generally be dealing with. So this is another view of it. Okay, now let's look at the approximate package prices. Again, I want to emphasize this is just an approximate prices. The first one you look at is Al Muassam camp with a hotel in Azizia, 3 to 4 star. These can be approximately $8,000 to $10,000. This is again purely an approximate. I want to be careful because I could get into trouble with the ministry if anyone takes it the wrong way. These are just estimates we are showing, just so that you start preparing the funds. The next one is still Azizia, but a better hotel, 4 to 5 star, and still the camp is Al Muassam. The cost here can go from anywhere from $9,000 to $12,000, depending on the ratings, depending on the quality, etc. The third category, now you come close to Haram. The hotel in Makkah is close to Haram. The camp is still Al Muassam. These packages can go from $10,000 to $13,000 approximately. The next category is now we are still in Hotel Makkah, but the package shifts to Al-Kabsh. This can go from anywhere from $12,000 to $16,000 to $17,000. Generally, it remains under $16,000. So this is our most premium package that we would look at, where the camp is Al-Kabsh camp and the hotel is near Makkah. Now, the difference in some of these ranges that you're looking between these two packages, generally shifting is between these two packages, okay? So the range will differ because remember I talked about the shifting and non-shifting, okay? If it's non-shifting, it's a little bit higher. If it's shifting, the cost goes down a little bit. Kirana, which I said that we are not going to be involved in this one. This can start at about $21,000, $25,000, and it can go up to close to $40,000, okay? Again, these are only estimates. The actual prices will only be available when the packages are available on the Souk. Any questions before I move forward? Anything I can answer? Ismail, can you check? Okay, let me move forward. We'll get to the questions later. Now, I'm going to get into registration at this point in time. Okay, this is only purely for people who are not familiar with registration. Okay, Ismail, any questions that I need to answer? Okay, all right. So, from a registration perspective, there are 3 steps that are involved: the documents, the account, and the registration part itself. Okay, so I want to go through this quickly. Let's move on to that. The required documents are passport and a passport picture. Okay. Now, when you scan the passport, you need to make sure it is similar to this, exactly similar to this. Please avoid taking picture using your phone because then it becomes crooked this way, that way, and you might end up missing the corners. They will reject it. The other part you have to make sure you make sure that it is valid at least for 6 months from the date of the travel, which is 6 months from May, because you're going to be traveling in the month of May, 6 months from the month of May, which is approximately October, November time frame. So if your passport is expiring anytime before October, please submit it for renewal immediately. Submit it for renewal immediately. So this, and then it has to be followed this dimension, the 800 by 400. We'll show you a little bit how to adjust this one, but you need to start with the correct image to start with. These things at the bottom here have these 4 corners are this is where people end up wasting a lot of time. when they don't start with a good product to start with. The personal picture has to have a white background, okay? The Nusuk prefers photos for sisters with hijab. It's not required, but they do prefer it, okay? But it's not required. It needs to be about this dimension, 2 inches by 2 inches. And it needs to have the full face and white background. I mean, you don't need to have a suit and all that, but it has to be similar to this, okay? And it needs to follow these guidelines, basically. So the third document, which is not necessary for everyone, I want to point this out. The only 2 documents that are necessary are the passport and the picture. Now, the third documents become necessary if your residency and your nationality, your residency and citizenship don't match. For example, if you are in United States on a green card or H-1 visa, etc., which means your citizenship is of another country, then you need to have the residency proof. You need to have your passport, you need to have your passport picture, and you need to have a proof of your residency in the country that you're applying from, basically. So the residency are such as the green card, the residency permit, your driver license, etc. You can see that our recommendation is if you do not go with residency permit, which is green card for Americans, or driving license. Now, if you don't have this, for example, with in some cases H-1B applicants may not even have a driver license. In that case, you can have your work visa documents, your lease, ownership, property ownership, etc. But that needs to have your name clearly on it, and your address has to be listed on it. Okay, these are requirements. So once you have that, you can submit that one. Okay. And the format has to be PNG or JPG. They will clearly tell you. Now, how do you prepare the document? There are several image tools, such as the Paint on Windows, Paintbrush on Mac. What you can do is, for example, in the Windows, if you bring up the Windows on your desktop, on your laptop, you go and click on this one that basically says resizing. The box here, different versions of Paint might look differently, but this is how the most current one shows. You would click on this for resizing, and then you would select the pixels here. You would select this box here, and you disable it, and then here you would say 800 by 400. If you start with the right image to start with, this becomes very simple. Which is crooked, which is not visible, which is different sizes, this process will not work, basically. So again, I want to emphasize, please start with the right image to start with, and then you can do this adjustment, okay? And you can see at the bottom of the screen, it will tell you what's the size of the pixels you're working with, what's your final result, and what's the size. The size has to be, as I said earlier, has to be, the file size has to be under 1 megabyte. Okay, now registration process. The only site to register is hajj.nusuk.sa. If somebody sends you this link, please make sure you're checking to make sure it does say exactly like this. Type it in preferably. Do not take the link and take it. Okay, take this one and preferably type it in, and then you can move forward. And then you click start registration, and then once you do that, you create your account. The first thing they are going to ask you is the country of residency. Remember, residency, not nationality. They first want to make sure you're the resident of one of the countries that Nusuk supports. That's the important part, okay? So you would mention your residency here, and then you would start by typing your email address, and then you select the box here and you create the account, okay? Residency, valid email address. Make sure you have a valid email address that you have access to, because at every step in the process, in the Nusuk's process, not just for registration, later on, logging in and everything, that email address is critical that you have access to it, because they will keep sending the OTP. You have to have the OTP available immediately. So once you created this one, then it'll ask you it'll send you the OTP to that email address. And once you enter the OTP, it'll ask you to create the password. So there are rules for the password, follow those rules here, and then you select the create the account. Now, remember this so far, you've only created the account. You're not completed the registration. So the next step, you go through the whole process of uploading the document. You would upload the document, immediately the next thing is going to come in, attach the passport, attach the passport picture, and in case if your residency and the citizenship does not match, it will immediately also ask you to upload the residency proof also, okay? So if the scan is successful, it will take you to the summary screen immediately. Otherwise, it will tell you it fails. It gives you about 3 chances. After that, it will tell you you can enter manually. Please do not try to enter it manually, because if the scan is failing, that means you don't have a good image. Most probably in the later on process, verification process, it'll be rejected. So instead of wasting time, this is a sign, indicator that your image is not good. That's what it means. Try to, if it fails 3 times, if it asks you to upload manually, avoid it, go back and look at the images, see what's the problem with it, and correct it as quickly as possible. Okay? So, once if the scan is successful, the summary page will show up. The information in your registration should match exactly how it is in the passport, not how you believe your name should have been. Whatever you have in your passport is how they want it. So if you see here, for example, if you look at the last name is missing your middle name, Abdullah, which is not in the passport. Don't try to go there and put Abdullah. Nusuk will reject it then. Because at this point, your registration is not matching what's in your passport. You miss putting Abdullah in the passport, forget putting Abdullah. Okay, please don't do that. Okay, same thing with the date. Oh, the passport had the wrong date of birth. This is my correct date of birth. Sorry, don't touch it. Please don't touch it. Whatever is in the passport is what should be in the registration. So complete entering the information and go through all the screens. They're pretty self-explanatory. Don't want to waste the time. There are 3 screens that I want to point out to. One is there is a screen which talks about the arrival date. It asks you total expected days. In case you're going to say, I don't know the number of days, but it's still a required field. So just put some number, like a 14, 10, 17, whatever you feel like. It's not a big deal. It will also ask you for the travel method and the flight number. Again, you're going to say, I don't know the flight number. I haven't bought a package. Just put some number at this point in time. Okay. Then there is another, this one, which is the medical information. It's very important that you accurately fill this information, because this year we are expecting the ministry to require people to submit a medical certificate in case if they feel something is necessary. So make sure you submit this accurately as possible. They keep asking about chronic diseases. Chronic diseases, if you search online, refers to condition which requires your medical attention daily. Medical attention meaning that there is a doctor that needs to be available. Okay, dialysis is one very key. This one, because a person who needs dialysis, they need attention every other day, right? So that would be considered a chronic disease. Just because you have diabetics and you're on medication does not constitute as a chronic condition. You should consult your medical professional, your doctor, before filling. If you feel like there is something that you need clarity on, talk to your doctor, please. Okay. Then the address field, there's a page that has the address. This also needs a little bit of attention. They ask for street address, home address, and post office box. Street address is the numerical portion of your address. 1001. That is what you would put here. You would not put 1001 Ashford Dunwoody Road. Okay, 1001 would go here. Ashford Dunwoody would go here. Why they have done it? This is the way it is. Okay, So in the portion that says street address, you would have that home address, would have the alphabetical portion of your address. Post office box, if you don't have a post office box, just say not applicable. Once you come to the summary review, you will basically look at this carefully. If you feel like something is incorrectly matched, if it does not match your passport, you can click the edit here, go and correct it, and then you do the submit. Once you submit, basically it's saying now it goes into the review process. Now remember, once you completed the registration and the registration approved, does not necessarily mean now you have a package. All it means is you have completed submitting of the document and they have accepted your document. Now you are eligible to buy a package. Okay? It does not guarantee that you get a package at this point. Now, add family member. As I said earlier, each account can have up to 9 members in the account. It does not have to be a family member. It could be a group of friends, etc. So you can add altogether. You can have 9 people in an account. Now, while you're looking at adding a family member into your account, these are some of the things that you have to look carefully. The primary account holder, whoever it is, will be responsible for selecting the packages. That's the person that's going to be administering the entire account. All members need to be resident of the same country. I cannot have one member from Canada, one from residing in United States. They can have different nationality, but the residency has to be the same for all the members. And the payment for all members will be through one single wallet, which is e-wallet is attached to the account. E-wallet is attached to the account. So all the payment for all the packages for all the members has to be through that single e-wallet. Funds into the e-wallet, as I said earlier, can be through the credit card or bank account. You can use multiple credit cards. As I said, it's just a purse. Where you get, how many times you put the money into the purse is irrelevant. By the time of purchasing the package, you need to have enough funds in it. That's the key part. How many times you apply the credit card and put the money through the credit card? Doesn't matter. You can use 10 credit cards. You can use the credit card that belongs to different people. It doesn't matter. As long as you have their approval, of course, right? So it doesn't matter, okay? But that wallet needs to have enough funds for all the people in the account. Now, there are advantages and disadvantages, okay? The advantage is when the package purchasing comes in, because of the number of people hitting the Nusuk, sometimes there can be bandwidth issues, okay? So with one login, you're able to purchase package for about 7-8 people who are in your account, as opposed to 7 of those people who have to log in, maybe successful, not successful, etc. But the disadvantage also is if you are looking for a package, and if that package there are only 2 seats available and you have 6 people in it, you will fail also. So there are pros and cons. There are a few things that you have to look at it. But if you can collect a few people, get into one account, I would suggest it just because of this thing here about the heavy bandwidth, because we did face lots of issues here. Okay. So registration, add a family, it's very easy. When you're like, for example, once you're created the registration, your name would show up here. You would click down, it says my family, and then you would go there and you would add a family member. It's very simple. The way the process works is you would go there, you would enter an email address belonging to that family. Every family member needs to have a unique email. So what happens is you would enter the email address and you would say verify email. That email account will get an OTP. You need to enter that OTP, only then you can move forward. Basically, they're saying, we want to make sure that you're giving me a valid email address, okay? So once you give the email address, the OTP comes up. Once you click on this OTP, you can move forward. This family member's country of residence is defaulted to your country of residence. So you need to make sure they are, again, as I said earlier, they are the same country of residence. And then you would go through, verify the OTP, etc., go through the process, and you would enter the same documents, upload the same document, and you would complete the rest of the profile for them, just like what you did earlier. Okay. I want to move forward quickly. We do have instructional video on this one, and our support, we are part of the Rawaf MENA service provider group. Okay, so we are guides for them. We have a team, basically, our team of about 15, 16 people that are available always to help. We will continuously run this ongoing support seminars. In every week, we have webinars, seminars, etc. And so continuously, we are going to do this until you have a package, inshallah. We are going to work as much as possible. We will support the package selection through this period, and once the package selection is completed, we start our logistics and fix it. We start training people, we start guiding them, we start making sure that they safely perform all the rituals and come back with a Hajj Mabrur, inshallah. That's our goal. We go through this. We have muftis, local muftis here who will give the fiqh session, etc. All our experience we pour into this. Okay, extensive training we do throughout this session, and then our guys will start coordinating just before the Hajj starts. So I think we have very few minutes. I want to open up the session for questions. Any questions from here, from the floor? Yes.
How can we join the group or something? Is there a WhatsApp group or?
Okay, good question. The bottom line here, this is the URL. I will circulate, there is a QR code I have. I will circulate the QR code. You can scan the QR code and join our WhatsApp group. That will help you, that will allow you to guide basically. Okay, any other question? Yes.
So like when we were supposed to register, one of the most important parts is having a good passport picture. How would you recommend, we take?
Very good question. Very good question. Thank you for asking that. I might have missed it. What I suggest is spend $1 or $2. I'm sorry. Okay. The question was, I kept saying repeatedly, how do you make sure you start with a good image, right? If you take it with the phone, it can be crooked, it can be this way, etc. The best thing is go to one of the copy centers. Go to the library who have a scanner. Scan your passport. Have your passport scanned. It is much, much easier if you scan a passport. It's $1, $2, something to that effect. But please do not waste your time taking the picture using your phone. It does not generally work. Okay. Any other question?
There's two questions. Someone has a question. My husband and nephew have been rejected. If you resubmit, how long will it take to be approved?
Okay. Unfortunately, I cannot answer that question simply because they are continuously going through the verification process. My expectation is the verification generally takes about 2 to 3 weeks, but in some cases they have been much quicker also. Okay, so just do it. Just submit the registration, but be patient. Just be patient.
A follow-up to that question. After being approved, how do we put everyone in the same group? They want to be in the same group, although they submitted separate information.
Okay, all right. So the question here is, if I am approved, but now I realize I want to get three people from my family also into the group. That's the question, basically. Okay. So one thing I want you to understand, when you add anyone to my group, I go under verification again. My approval is gone. Please understand this part, okay? Because when I change my account, my account could very well go into verification. You got to remember that. Now, how to add it? First thing they have to do is they have to delete the registration that they have done elsewhere. They need to delete that registration. There used to be a linking option before. We have not seen that linking option now. So they'll have to delete that and go through the add the family this thing. I am going to respond back to this question in the WhatsApp group because I want to go back and look at if there is an option to link different accounts. Okay. So watch for my response in the WhatsApp group. So whoever asked the question, please look for the response in the WhatsApp group. Okay. Any other question? Yes, sister.
So, it says your registration is successfully. And I go and see on the email, it says just that. How do I know that I'm verified? Is there any way I need to go and look for verification?
Very good question. I'll repeat the question. Let me just get to the screen where I showed this. Okay. The question was, the sister is asking the question that she received the email which said successfully approved, but how do I confirm it? That's the question basically, right?
How do I know that I'm verified?
Okay. Right. The way you do that is if you log into your account, okay, and if you go and click your name here, and then if you say my profile, see this box here? This box is your name once you log in. Once you log into your Nusuk account, you will see your name here and the down arrow here. If you click this, you will see an option that says my profile. Okay. If you click that my profile, this window will show up. It should say approved here. It will say that. Okay. This is how you know you are approved basically. Okay. Yes, brother.
Question, maybe you can answer, maybe you can, I'm not sure. Is there a way to get your own visa?
No. No. If you're a resident of one of those countries, Nusuk countries that I mentioned, through the Nusuk platform, okay? If you have a dual citizenship with one of the other countries, okay, such as if you are resident here but you're in Pakistan or Bangladesh passport, you can go with a group from there, but you cannot get your own visa. That is not possible anymore, okay? And don't even think of, there were some people that a few years back that used to take people over there. Absolutely, that's not going to work. They have restricted down to the point that even a person with a valid visa, if they don't have an ID on their body, they will stop at every point in time. Okay, I think I'm running out of time. Any question? Yes.
I have
1 minute.
If a person gets approved and they're going, when they reach in the time of Hajj, is there going to, do you guys provide a group or there's everyone for themselves?
Okay. Thank you. Okay. The question is basically if they get the package and if they are, if they get there basically, and how do we coordinate, right? Okay. We, by Allah's grace, okay, we have been blessed with very good team. We have very good reputation with all this thing. So once the minute the group lands in Saudi Arabia, okay, the partner that we work with, which is Rawaf Mina, who is the service provider, we are guides for the Rawaf Mina group. Their team member will bring the people to the hotel. Our guide will be there in the hotel. From the time you land in the hotel until the time you return back, we are there to guide you completely. We are you're basically our family at that point in time, and that is why we have that reputation with Rawaf Mina. Okay. Any other question? Sister, you had a question.
Hey, my son is in Spain. He's citizen of here. He just went for work for 1 year.
Yeah.
Just recently.
Yeah.
But he applied for all of us, for the family, 8 of us together. Is there going to be any different since he is going from Spain and we are going from here?
Yes. No. When he applied, did he apply you as a resident of Spain or did he apply himself?
Here.
But so he's also, he applied.
He's citizen of here, but he's right now working in Spain and he possibly go from here to.
Very good question. The sister is asking the question. I want to repeat it because for the benefit. She is asking the question that her son, who is working in Spain, applied, did the registration. Okay. So for himself and for the rest of the family who are still in America. Okay. So as long as you all applied as residents of America, even though he's working there temporarily, let's say that. Okay. So as long as you all applied as residents of America, you're good. His package will be the same package that you all will get. His flight will be from here.
from Spain.
No. Okay, because his package, remember I told you, all the members in the account will get the same package. All the members in the account will get the same package. There is only one package you can select. You cannot say 4 members will get this package, 4 members will get that package. It doesn't work that way.
What about from California? Is the same?
No matter where you get it from, no matter where the members are, okay, that account, all the members in the account will get one package. Okay, so that one package is attached to one flight, same flight. Okay, so for example, to answer your question, you have a son in Spain, you have a sister in California, and you are in the Atlanta area, right? But the package that you're going to select, you can select the package with the flights from California, and then you have to go to California and fly from there. Or you can select a package with a flight from Atlanta. Your sister from California will have to come to Atlanta. Your son from Spain will have to come here. Because the package is attached to the account. Am I clear? Okay. The package is attached to the account, one package. You cannot have multiple packages in an account. Those are the things. Remember when I talked about adding the family member, you have to think about this. Does it make sense for me to have everyone in the same package? Now, if you don't have them all in the same package, if your sister who's sitting in California may not get the same package, she may be in a different hotel. You understand what I'm saying? Okay. She may not get the same package. That means she's going to be in a different hotel, different schedule, different flight, etc., etc. Okay. But if you all want to go together, then you have to put them all in one account and pick one package that makes the most sense to
But
everybody.
we want to stay longer in my sense because of work and her husband, my brother.
Good question. Good question. The sister is asking the question. The whole group wants to stay longer, excepting her son, who has to come back for the work, which is a genuine case. It's a realistic case. It happens. In that case, you have one of two options. You can select a package with a shorter time, okay? And then you make the arrangement for the hotel. Then you will have to make the arrangement for the hotel and the return flight. Now, in the case that you're mentioning, if the whole family wants to stay longer, excepting your son, in that case, what you do is you select the package that best suits all the members, rest of the members, right? Okay, 21 days for everybody. Your son wants to come back earlier. Well, he'll have to book a flight, his own flight separately to come back earlier. Did I answer that question, sister? Okay, all right. Because the package is for the entire group. Okay, especially if you want to be together. Yes. I'm sorry, am I running over your time?
Sorry about the time. Maybe 1 or 2 more.
Please tell me, okay? Please stop me anytime, okay?
Be affected if he flies to Spain and needs to be in Saudi?
Okay, good question. Okay, so the question is, if I buy a package for the whole family from Atlanta, but one of the member, because they are somewhere else, they are going to fly and come there. That's the question basically. And the rest of the family will fly out of Atlanta. One person will fly out from different area. Okay. In that case, the package will not be affected, but his flight will be wasted. He will have to buy a separate ticket to fly from different place to this place. Remember, I keep repeating, package is attached to one, the account is attached to one package. Meaning, my package starts from New York City. Everybody has to fly out of New York City or they lose the flight part. You don't lose the package, but you lose the flight part. You will have to make your own arrangements, whether it is going earlier, later, from a different place, whatever, you have to make your own arrangements. But you don't lose the package. Okay? Yes, brother, question. I'm sorry, I asked the Imam, he said take one more question. Yes, brother. Just one last question. Last question, please. I'm here after the prayer. I can always meet with you all. Okay, please don't worry. Okay. Yes, brother. Last question.
If you want to go now, anything change, you go sharing, you can go to every investment, you can go to anywhere. You can do you can do Now anything changed or?
Investor visa of Saudi Arabia? Oh, no, that has nothing to do with Hajj. Investor visa is the visa to be in Saudi Arabia. For Hajj, you have to have a Hajj visa. It is a Hajj visa. Okay? Even a local resident will need to have a Hajj visa to go into the Makkah province. Very strict.
Is that changing? Before with the investor visa.
Well, things have changed drastically, brother, in the last 4 or 5 years. I don't want to talk about what was happening before because there are lots of things going on that were not right. Okay, I'm sorry, I have to stop. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Wal asr. Innal insana lafi khusr. Illa alladhina amanu wa amilus salihati wa tawasaw bil haqqi wa tawasaw bis sabr. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.